Have you ever wondered what secrets a billionaire's mansion might hold? Let go of my son now. Brent Carter, a billionaire and single father, stood frozen at the threshold of his mansion. The briefcase slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a thud, but he didn't blink. In front of him, his 6-year-old son, Eli, was crouched near the base of the staircase. Tiny arms wrapped protectively over his head, trembling. Towering over him was Maya Williams, 29, the family's live-in housekeeper. Her hand gripped Eli's arm and in the other she held a towel blood-streaked at one end. Brent surged forward. I said, let him go. Startled, Maya released Eli immediately. The boy bolted toward Brent and clung to him, sobbing into his shirt. Brent looked down. His son's face was blotched with tears. But what turned his blood to ice was the red swelling on Eli's forehead. Brent turned to Maya, rage building fast. What the hell happened? Maya held up her hands. Mr. Carter, please. He slipped in the bathroom. I was trying to help him up. You call this help? Brent snapped, pointing at the towel. You think I'm stupid? No, sir. I then explain why my son looks like he's been thrown against a wall. I didn't hurt him, Mia said firmly, though her voice trembled. I would never hurt Eli. He panicked. He ran. Slipped. I was trying to stop the bleeding. Brent didn't answer. He looked down at Eli, his voice gentler. Son, what happened? Tell Daddy. Elihatsi thought that. His eyes darted toward Maya, then back to his father. There was a long pause and then he whispered. She hit me. Brent stiffened. She what? Eli clung tighter. She got mad. I dropped the vase. She hit me with the towel. No. Maya gasped. That's not true, Eli. Baby, why would you? Brent raised a hand to silence her. Not another word. But get out of my sight, he snarled. If you so much as breathe near him again. Maya stepped back, stunned. I didn't do this. Oh. Brent ignored her. Eli, we're going to the hospital. St. Agnes Memorial's pediatric ward was quiet, antiseptic, and cold. Brent sat in the waiting area. Eli curled against him like a small bird seeking shelter. Brent kept his arms around the boy, his mind racing, looping through images, doubts, flashes of anger. Dr. Ree, the attending pediatrician, approached. Mr. Carter, Brent stood tense. Tell me what you found. She was calm, but her words dug deep. No signs of concussion, but the bruising on his arms and upper shoulder is not consistent with a single fall. Some marks are at least 48 hours old. Brent's brow furrowed. He's been with her the whole time. Dr. Ree gave a subtle nod. There's also a wrist abrasion, possibly from restraint. Brent clenched his jaw. Are you filing a report? We already have. CPS will be notified. He looked down at Eli, who stared off blankly. Brent gently squeezed his hand. You did good, buddy. Eli said nothing. Back home, the atmosphere was toxic with silence. Brent paced the kitchen while Maya stood near the entrance, arms at her sides. She looked younger than ever, vulnerable. But Brent wasn't moved. You hurt my son, he said. No, I didn't, she replied steady, despite the quiver in her voice. He's lying. Don't you, Dar? I'm not calling him a liar, she said quickly. I'm saying he's scared. Kids, they say things when they're afraid. Exactly. Brent snapped. He was afraid of you. Number's voice grew firmer. He was afraid of you. Brent froze. Ask yourself, she continued. Why would a child lie about something like this unless he feared your reaction? He blinked. So now this is my fault. I didn't say that, she said softer now. But I know Eli. He dropped your wife's vase. He panicked. He knew you'd be upset. He's been missing you, Brent. He didn't want you angry at him. Brent didn't respond. Did you even ask him about the vase? She said gently. Brent turned away. Upstairs. Eli was in bed, his eyes still open. Brent sat beside him. The boy looked nervous. Eli, Brent said quietly. I need you to tell me the truth now. Not what you think I want to hear, just the truth. The boy's lip quivered. I promise you, Brent said. I won't be mad no matter what. There was a long pause. Then Eli whispered, I dropped the vase and I was scared you'd yell at me. So I said she hit me. Brent stared at his son, stunned. I'm sorry, Eli said. She didn't. She helped me. She said not to worry. Brent swallowed hard. His throat tightened. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I thought you'd be mad at me or go away again. Brent pulled Eli close. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not mad at you. I promise. He sat beside his son long after the boy fell asleep, torn between guilt and shame, between rage at himself and the slow understanding that maybe, just maybe, he had gotten everything wrong. And downstairs, Mia packed her things in silence, unaware that truth had finally come to light too late, and not without scars. What if the truth was more complicated than it seemed? Maya stood in the dim hallway, suitcase half zipped, one hand resting on the polished oak railing. Her heart thudded beneath her rib cage, not from guilt, but from the sting of injustice. She stared at the front door for what felt like hours, waiting for the sound of sirens, the knock of police who might never come. She had almost left. Almost. Then she heard the soft patter of footsteps behind her. Maya, the voice was low, uncertain. Brent, she turned slowly, her eyes guarded. Yes, Mr. Carter. He looked exhausted. Not in the way men look after a long day, but in the way they look after breaking something that can't be fixed. His tie was loosened, his shirt wrinkled. His expression, once rigid and accusatory, was cracked by something she didn't expect. Remorse. He took a breath. Eli told me the truth. Her face didn't change, but her arms slowly dropped to her sides. I see. Brent rubbed the back of his neck. He was scared, thought I'd be mad about the vase, said he panicked. I figured, she said simply, silence settled between them like a fog. It wasn't the kind of silence that begged to be broken. It was the kind that needed to breathe. I owe you an apology, he said finally. A real one, Maya raised an eyebrow. Do you? Brent flinched. I accused you of something terrible. I believed my son, which of course I should have, but I didn't stop to question the fear behind his words. I didn't listen to you. No, she agreed. You didn't. I reacted, he said. I didn't think. You thought plenty. Maya said, voice sharp now. You thought I was capable of hurting him? You thought the worst? He swallowed hard. I did. Why? She asked. Because I'm young. Because I live in the staff quarters or because I'm black? The question hit like a slap. Brent blinked, mouth slightly open, words caught in his throat. She didn't wait for an answer. You hired me to help raise your child. And the moment things didn't look right, you saw me as the threat. Not even for a second did you give me the benefit of the doubt. Brent looked away, shame shadowing his features. You're right. Maya nodded once, the motion stiff. So now what? He looked at her. I'm not asking you to stay. I'm not entitled to that. But I want you to know. I'm sorry. Maya exhaled through her nose. Her grip on the suitcase loosened. I loved that kid, she said quietly. Still do. And not just because it's my job. You think I stayed through your grief, your silences, your absence because of the paycheck? Eli needs someone to see him. I saw him. Brent's voice was hoarse. I see him now. Good, she said. But it might be too late for that. Curiosity. She's strong. She doesn't need saving. I know that, Harrison said. She always was. But a daughter deserves her father to show up, even if it's late. Brent hesitated. She's speaking at the Glendale Women's Shelter tonight. You could go quietly. Listen, Harrison nodded. That's all I want. That evening, Maya stood at the podium in a modest room filled with women from all walks of life, young mothers, survivors, retired teachers, students. She wore a burgundy blouse and gold earrings that caught the light every time she turned her head. Brent sat in the back, Eli beside him, holding a coloring book. And in the farthest corner, dressed in the same navy coat, sat Harrison Bishop, rigid, watchful, silent. Maya spoke of legacy, of building bridges where others had burned them. She spoke of her grandmother who cleaned houses but taught her to read by flashlight, of mentors who believed in her, and of the quiet fire she had to stoke within herself to keep going. I was told more than once that my place was in the background, she said. But I've learned that the background is where roots grow deepest. It's where strength forms. And sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who choose to lift others instead of lifting themselves. Brent glanced at Harrison during the applause. The man was staring at her, his jaw tight, but his eyes were wet. After the talk, Maya made her way through the crowd, accepting hugs and handshakes. Brent intercepted her gently before she reached the exit. There's someone here, he said softly. Her brows furrowed. Who? Brent turned slightly and her eyes followed his line of sight straight to the far corner. She froze. Why? Her voice caught in her throat. He showed up on his own, Brent said. Wanted to listen? Maya took a slow breath, her shoulders rising and falling like a wave, trying to decide whether to break. Do you want me to? Brent asked. No, she said quickly, then more quietly. Number. I'll talk to him. She walked across the room, heels clicking softly on the floor. Harrison stood as she approached but said nothing. You read the article, she said. And that made you remember you have a daughter? I never forgot, Harrison replied, voice low. I just didn't know how to come back. You could have tried, Maya said. Even once. I thought I was doing you a favor, staying away. She shook her head, bitter laughter escaping her lips. That's the lie you told yourself so it wouldn't hurt as much. Harrison flinched but didn't look away. I read every word of that article and I saw strength I never had. You didn't become strong in spite of me. You became strong because I left. Maya's eyes glistened. You don't get to rewrite that. I'm not trying to, he said. I'm asking if there's room to begin again, even just a conversation now and then. Maya was quiet for a long moment. Then, her voice steadied. I have a son in that room over there. His name is Eli. He's not mine by blood, but I love him with everything I have. If you want to talk to me, you'll have to earn your place. Not through me, but through how you show up in his world. Harrison blinked. You're raising someone else's child. I'm helping raise him. She corrected. And in doing so, I'm healing the little girl who waited years for her father to show up. Tears filled Harrison's eyes now. May I meet him someday? We'll see, she said quietly. One step at a time. She turned and walked away, leaving Harrison standing alone. Brent met her halfway and gently placed a hand on her back. You okay? He asked. I don't know, she replied. But I said what I needed to say. That night, Brent tucked Eli into bed, then returned to the porch where Maya sat, staring into the darkness. Do you regret seeing him? Brent asked. No, Mia said. I regret needing it. Brent sat beside her, took her hand. You were incredible tonight. I wasn't trying to be, she said. I just didn't want to carry silence anymore. They sat in the quiet, the kind that felt like healing. Brent pressed a kiss to her temple. You don't have to carry anything alone, he whispered. And in that moment, with the past confronted and the present claimed, Maya leaned into him, no longer running from echoes, but walking forward with the strength of truth and a future waiting just ahead. Autumn deepened. The trees turned from gold to fire, and the air grew sharper, carrying the scent of earth and distant fireplaces. Brent had begun walking Eli to school each morning, a new ritual that gave them time to talk, laugh, and sometimes just walk in comfortable silence. Maya often joined them on Fridays, holding Eli's hand as he skipped between them, unaware of how tightly his joy stitched their lives together. But on a brisk Thursday morning, something shifted. Brent received a call from one of his longtime business partners, Gordon Lear. The man's tone was casual at first, chit-chat about golf and quarterly numbers, but then his voice took on a different edge. "Listen, Brent," Gordon said. "Off the record. I've been hearing chatter from some of the board members. They're concerned." Brent frowned. "Concerned about what?" Gordon hesitated. "About your visibility lately, the article, the photographs, the woman." "You mean Maya?" Brent said flatly. "I'm not saying it's right," Gordon rushed. "But the reality is some of the more conservative clients are questioning your judgment. You're in the spotlight now and well, your personal choices are starting to ripple." Brent's grip tightened around the phone. "So, I'm supposed to hide the woman I care about to protect someone else's comfort?" "I'm saying be mindful. This isn't just your reputation anymore. You've got investments, partners, legacies tied to your name." Brent hung up without another word. He spent the rest of the day in a quiet fury, trying to focus, trying not to slam the cabinet doors when he made lunch. When Maya arrived in the evening, she sensed something was wrong before he said a word. "You've got that jawline thing going," she said softly, setting her bag down like you're chewing through a brick wall. He handed her a glass of wine and sat beside her on the couch. "I got a call from Gordon, one of the guys I've done business with for years. Basically told me people are talking about us." Maya's face didn't change. Not shock, not anger, just a sad sort of knowing. "They're not talking about us," she said quietly. "They're talking about me." Brent looked at her. "I won't apologize for loving you." "I know," she said, "but they think you should, and that's the part that burns." He stared at the floor. "Do you think I'm being naive, thinking I could just move on, build something real with you, and the world would adjust?" Maya took his hand. "I think you're being brave. But bravery doesn't make the path easy. It just means we walk it anyway." He lifted her hand to his lips. "I don't want to lose what I'd built, Maya, but I won't lose you to keep it." She looked at him for a long moment. "Then maybe it's time we show them exactly who we are. Not to defend it, but to own it." The opportunity came sooner than expected. The Glendale Business Foundation was hosting its annual gala, a black tie event Brent had attended every year since his first real estate project broke ground. This time, he RSVP'd for two. When Mia stepped into the ballroom, wearing a midnight blue gown and her grandmother's pearls, the room stilled, conversation softened, heads turned. Brent stood beside her, immaculately dressed in a tailored tuxedo, hands steady on the small of her back. He whispered, "You're the storm and the stillness all at once." She smiled. "Let's give them something to really